So it's not much of a video really. Just happened to be looking at a little bit of footage of some reporting on the truck the trucker convoy protest in various parts of Canada, Ottawa, and Quebec, and Toronto. And I just saw one news report regarding some folks that were supporting the truckers. They were kind of standing near a roadway in the snow in, I think it was Winnipeg, and a driver ploughed through 4 or 5 of them. And he didn't kill anybody, but he clearly just drove through deliberately to hit them. And I Ziggurat or something is the name of the person that was driving the car, and I'm sure he'd be arrested. Due process. But it just put me in mind of 2 other cases. The James Fields case in Charlottesville in 2017 at the infamous Unite the Right rally, where a bunch of right-wing groups converged on the university in that town to protest the proposed removal of a Confederacy statue, and were met counter protesters from Black Lives Matter and Antifa. And there was an infamous case of a lad called James Fields drove into protesters, and one protester died. No, I'm not going to go into detail about that. If we're going to stay consistent and talk about due process, then we can't always protest or say that the result of due process wasn't correct. But I then also was thinking of the case of Mel Brooks, who ploughed into a large crowd of parade goers in Waukesha, Wisconsin, just before Christmas. And as is always the way with these things, if you're just trying to refresh your memory on the details of stuff, it is handy to quickly open Wikipedia and have a look. So that's what I did this morning, just at breakfast time. And the only thing I would really point out is, as far as the James Fields case goes, it's about a very, very, very lengthy article, going into lavish detail about all the right wing, bigots that were amassed at Charlottesville, and how all these peaceful protesters came out to, for the side of the righteous and the good, to protest these horrible right wing people. And then they went into lavish detail describing the angry loner James Fields and all the family dysfunction. And it sounds like quite a dysfunctional background the chap came from. And then lavish detail about his just ploughing into a group of people, just driving straight in, and killing as many people as he could, or attempting to kill as many people as he could. And then lavish detail about how there was lobbying from Democrats to have the attack described as or defined or categorized as a domestic terrorism attack. And then lavish detail about the very lengthy set of prosecutions he was on the receiving end of, culminating in something like 500 years sentence for terrorist acts and civil rights attacks and attempted murder, and all exacerbated by being a white supremacist terror attack. And then another page of text eulogizing Heather Herring, was that not Heather Herring? So it was roughly similar name. Heather Herring is the Dark Horse podcast lady, but Heather Heyer, I beg your pardon. And okay, so job done, Wikipedia. So then we go to Darrell Brooks, miserable little scrap of an article talking about how Darrell Brooks drove into folks at a Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and a little tiny bit about how he's facing murder charges, and also a little bit of a description of how he may have been fleeing a different crime scene. Now, we know that Darrell Brooks wasn't fleeing another crime scene, yet that remains on Wikipedia's page. We know Darrell Brooks had explicitly anti-white content on his social media sites. We know this. We know this. We know there's a strong indication that he did specifically what he did was to try and go in and kill white people. We know this. We know this. It's not disputed. Yet he'll face just murder charges, and rightly so, and hopefully will receive a very lengthy sentence for that. Um, and it's staggering reading the two Wikipedia articles. Darrell Brooks' mental health issues are trotted out as mitigation. James Fields are trotted out to smear him. James Fields maybe flirtation with right-wing support possibly is lovingly poured over. Darren Brooks is assiduously ignored. Like it seems to be a reasonable case to make that Darrell Brooks went out of his way to kill as many white people as possible. That does seem to be the case. Video footage alone indicates this zigzagging through the crowd to hit as many people as possible. James Fields did appear to be reversing at high speed and recklessly out of a crowd of people that were surrounding his car. He's on the receiving end of a 500-year sentence as a white supremacist terrorist. Darren Brooks is facing 6 murder charges, and look, he's murdered people and should be facing murder charges. But all the characterization, all the verifiable and demonstrable things that would show that he specifically attacked white people in a racially motivated attack, just completely ignored. It's so strange. It is so strange. What's the point of even noting any of this? I'm not entirely sure, but I think we should leave a record, that indicating that we've read around the subject matter. We know it isn't as really as it's being presented to us. We know it isn't, and it'd be super if the powers that be could really just stop gaslighting us so badly. It'd probably help things if they did, I think, ultimately. So that's my tuppence worth anyway. I'll throw a few links down in the description if anyone's watching and has any interest at all. You might want to read about her a little bit, by all means. And as always, any feedback at all is very welcome. And thanks for listening.